It's the snowball effect. That's what it is. It starts with one small thing, insignificant, but it grows in size, in speed, and suddenly it's too big and it's moving too fast to stop it. That's why you're sitting there, thinking the unthinkable, contemplating, replaying it all in your head, trying to make sense of something that stopped making sense weeks ago. It's hard now to see how you got here, hard to see where your life made that sudden, sharp left turn and took you down a dark, untrodden path. You've had your highs and lows, who hasn't? But this low was a new low, deeper. The first thing was the layoff. You didn't see it coming, you were unprepared. Everything at work had seemed fine. You got on well with your team, your boss seemed pleased. In fact, you'd actually received a few commendations. So when redundancies were announced, you thought you knew you'd be safe. You were too valuable. You'd been there too long. It didn't matter. The call, when it came, was impersonal, distant. No thank you, no best of luck, no offer of career guidance. You were no longer needed, discarded. Finding work took longer than expected. The construction market was tough. There was less work to be had. Despite your experience and your expertise, no one was beating a path to your door. Every phone call ended with no. Every application met with rejection. A week without work became 2. 2 weeks became a month. A month became 3. Your wife was supportive at first. She knew how hard you'd worked. She knew it wasn't your fault. But the niggles soon began. Seeing you waiting by the phone for calls that never came. The Daily Post, rejection letters and red bills. Worst of all, the way you seemed to have given up. You both tried to protect the kids. You'd wait until they were in bed before gently laying out the debt and the depression. But they knew. They were quiet at home, quiet at dinner, quiet at the weekends. Your daughter spent more time at her friends. Your son was locked in his room, playing the guitar you'd bought him in better times. It had been a standing joke. That 20 quid that they borrowed today, paid back tomorrow, and then borrowed again the day after. But they'd stopped asking for dinners, for new shoes, for new clothes, for nights out. Then the bailiff came. A shock, but no surprise. You'd been juggling payment plans, hoping. But with no income and dwindling savings, those plans collapsed. The bailiff was passive-aggressive, calm and soft-spoken, almost sympathetic, but there was something else, unspoken, menacing. No threats, but threatening all the same. Your sleep became erratic, then rare, then impossible. A car idling in the front of your house felt like a repossession squad. Every knock, every call, every letter robbed your mind of focus. Each ring of the doorbell startled you. Each day felt like a step toward an unknown, a dark ending. You can't remember the first time you thought about it, but that one was small at first, but it got bigger, more insistent. You became a spectator in your own head, rationality fighting irrational desperation, a war of attrition. Each day a new battle, and at some point that despair began to gain momentum. Then there was the letter from the school, the one you'd found in your son's bedroom, torn in half and hidden from view. An invitation to a Battle of the Bands event in London. You didn't read it all, you didn't have to. Your eyes went straight to the bottom of the letter and the price of participation, £250. And you knew exactly why your son hadn't shown you the letter when it arrived. Your failure as a father and as a provider was heavy, suffocating, crushing. Then the lifeline, a job offer. After all this time, light at the end of the tunnel. They said all the right things. Your skills were the perfect match. And though payroll was monthly, they'd pay you weekly for the first couple of weeks. Proof of goodwill, recognition of your situation. You were always a hard worker, but now you were unstoppable, a force of nature. First on site and last to leave. A one-man suggestion box, constantly offering ways to improve things. You'd already drawn up a list of who you were going to pay first. You'd already figured out a new payment plan. You'd mentally set aside the money for your son's Battle of the Bands trip. Then Friday came. Even working like a man possessed, you had one eye on the gate, waiting for your boss, and most importantly, waiting for your money. Morning came and went, then lunch. Home time arrived with no boss, no money. You called. No answer. Called again, left a message. Nothing. Called from your wife's phone, and he answered, flustered, apologised. Said he'd been held up, promised to get you your money on Monday. But during the weekend, your brain was already working overtime, casting doubt, focusing on the most negative possible outcome. When he failed to show on Monday, you weren't even surprised. But you felt like something broke. Like the narrow thread that had kept you tethered to reality had just snapped. Telling your wife you'd worked for a week for nothing was easier than expected. She just nodded, like she'd seen it coming too. Then this morning, while you were at an interview for yet another job rejection, she'd left. You came home to find the car gone, the children gone, their clothes gone, the suitcase you'd used on your last family holiday gone. There was no note, no message. The house is empty, echoing to the sound of your footsteps and your breathing. Quite how and why you'd accumulated so many painkillers was a mystery. Packet after packet, each with strict guidelines on maximum dosage. All those packets now empty on the kitchen counter. Their contents now a sizable pile of tablets and capsules beside them. The whiskey wasn't your first choice. You were hoping to find a bottle of vodka with which to wash down the painkillers. But that was gone. Maybe your wife had been self-medicating. So now it's just you, some pills and a bottle of scotch. That's all that stands between you and some respite, some peace for your brain. You've thought about leaving a note, but what would you say? Who would you say it to? And so you sit and stare at the bottle and at the pills. Afternoon becomes evening. Evening becomes night. Sunset becomes sunrise. And you're still here. Just. At least for now.